I'm Ryan.
I'm Josh.
I'm Dylan.
We are Pop Culturists, and this is our discussion on the Captain America Civil War. I must get what it was called. I must have said The Avengers.
It may as well have been.
Dylan, I'm going to let you take the reins of this one.
So, Captain America Civil War came out this week. It's the 13th movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is the third film in the Captain America trilogy, following The Winter Soldier, directed by the Russo brothers. Anthony Russo, Joe Russo, famous for directing episodes of Community, not big on the action movies.
Ryan
but
did not know
blew
that.
the doors open with Captain America Winter Soldier, rave reviews. This one sees Captain America pitted against Iron Man because of a new registration act that, because of all their explosions and trouble they've caused in New York,
Death.
Sokovia,
The people
Washington, D.C.
their actions have killed.
Exactly. They decided they need to take accountability for it, and Tony Stark's all for joining the government and becoming registered and working for them. Captain America is all about freedom and not doing that and doing what's right, and that brings them to loggerheads. So, guys,
Hence the Civil War.
and there's a civil war. So they recruit different members to fight against each other. What did you guys think of it overall? Ryan, first impressions.
Overall, I enjoyed it. It was really tough for me. I spent the first 20 minutes of the movie going, am I burnt out on superhero movies? I don't know, something like it wasn't bad. But just this moment of I'm not laughing at the beats. I'm not.
When literally the whole cinema was laughing at things and you just sat there.
Yeah, it didn't.
And I'm thinking, the fuck is your problem?
It didn't hit me at all. I was like, and then Paul Rudd came on, and then I'm back in. I'm invested. The action scenes were awesome. The exposition was there. It needed to be. It kind of dipped the movie, but I didn't find it jarring by any chance. Josh?
The same boat for the most part. However, I enjoyed it from the start. I thought it kicked off on a really high beat. Good action. It really did dip. I guess I was expecting less talky because we just had BBS, which had too much talky, so I kind of just wanted a action-based movie. But when the action was happening, it was awesome. The best action I've seen in this kind of a movie ever. And it was just funny. One-liners, not funny ongoing jokes, just little quippy 5-second scenes that just made me laugh out loud a lot. So I really enjoyed it. Not thoroughly, but really.
Yeah, I agree. It was really good. It wasn't great. It wasn't one of the best Marvel movies. But it was entertaining. Like Josh said, it does have a slow burn to it, and there's a lot of exposition to set up. And none of the emotion was really there for most of it, I think. The idea that they're against each other, they touched upon the ideas that Captain America didn't want to do it because what if the government forced them to go somewhere they don't want to go and they're obliged to do it? Or what if there's somewhere that needs more attention and they're in this other place? They should be the ones that make the decisions. But at the end of the day, it just kind of turned into Captain America's Bucky's my friend, he was brainwashed, he's my friend. And even throughout it. Yeah, and it was kind of just Iron Man, Tony Stark was the voice of reason. Dude, come on, just join us.
If it was anybody else other than Bucky, Cat would
Don't get into spoilers just yet. Finish your thoughts before we get into spoilers.
Yeah,
because as of yet, we've not touched spoilers. So if anyone that's watching this, they can probably, on the next 2 minutes, can be all right, I'm done with spoilers, I'll come back. And then we'll just get heavy in spoilers.
Yeah, so overall, it was good. It wasn't the best, but it was a fun time at the cinemas.
Yeah, it was definitely a good popcorn movie. I was
Yeah,
all the action bits.
Yeah, once all the superheroes converged,
now Millie's eating it.
It really kicked off. But yeah.
And spoilers. So give it a minute. Spoilers start now.
Go.
Cool. So let's talk about Tony Stark, Steve Rogers.
It was very interesting. Where they were trying to sort of go with Tony being sort of made to feel guilty for everything that they've done. So he meets a woman in the backstage of
Something.
a talk at MIT, and she's like, "This is my son." Yeah, that's what she did. So this is my son. You killed him, you piece of shit. And then he's like, oh man,
Look at this picture. What?
She was
What
like,
is it?
look at this photograph. And I was
Yeah.
like,
Bridging from that, the overall theme of the movie was basically the Avengers would go, stop a bad guy and not help in the aftermath. And leave.
And this gave Tony this moment of accountability. Is like there's a face to someone that died. Now what I find like, and then there was Captain America on the other side who was sort of along the lines of, we need to do things outside of the law. Like we need to, like we're not criminals. We're doing something that nobody else will do. And by signing this document, it'll essentially put us with their agenda. Mind you, they still technically would have their own agenda.
Talking the US political
agenda. Because so 117 countries created this there was the Sokovia Accord, which essentially is their guidelines as the Avengers. For a lot of it, Iron Man seemed to be on the right. He did, and then there was Captain America was valid, but his reasons, like his points were valid, but his reasons behind them, being Bucky's my friend, had no place. As in, they're sort of establishing that Bucky's done a fuckload of horrible shit, and then he's like, no, but he's my friend. And massive spoilers, you find out. So at the end, when you find out that Bucky had killed some really important people.
Shit, my mic wasn't on. That's why I wasn't registering.
Okay, cool. Now it should register.
You'll hear me. Yeah.
So when you find out later that Bucky has killed some pretty prominent people, my side switched. I'm like, fucking Iron Man is the guy.
Yeah, but I think the point that was trying to be driven with Bucky, that they didn't quite hit, is that Bucky, in all of this, is a victim.
Yeah.
The whole I was mind-controlled thing is pretty cliche at this point, but that's the angle they were going with. I just don't think they struck it home. Because I get it. Because there's a conversation in there, I won't say who just yet, but my father's a victim and Bucky was a victim, and that's true. Bucky is a victim, and in one way, it's just Steve Rogers trying to get justice for what happened to his friend.
And apart from in the first fight of this movie, Crossbones has a bomb, tries to set it off. Scarlet Witch protects it in her magic beam thing, moves it into the air. She loses control of it. It blows out the side of a building, and that's where they have that realization, and they've actually seen. So their direct actions have killed people. Yeah. In every other instance, it had been the actions of a villain.
Cause and effect.
Was collateral damage, but for some reason they blame the Avengers, even though it would be 11 times more dead.
No, but one of the arguments brought up in the movie is that I think Vision said it, something along the lines of, people like us breed competition.
Yes.
And that's what's been touched on a lot in superhero fiction.
100%.
Right?
That's a pivotal
especially
storyline
in the Batman universe, is that these villains only exist because you exist, right? And that's what they were going with. That's what Vision kind of mentioned as well. It's because we're here that these guys keep coming and more powerful guys keep coming. We are the cause and they are the effect.
Touching on that was really, really smart.
Yes.
Because they could have just been like, look, we make these guys. But I guess having Vision sort of added a little bit of an oomph to it, because he's analytical and he's logical. He's like, look, we made these, dude.
He's direct, but he's so calm and well spoken that he commands your attention when he speaks. He's soft spoken too, but when Vision speaks, I hang on every word that he's saying. He's such an interesting character.
But speaking about with this discussion on sides and who was with what was very fascinating throughout this movie is no one even had to sit there and be like, my name is Black Widow and this is my stance on this.
Except Hawkeye. Hey, we haven't met. I don't care.
Apart from some small lines, there are small lines that established where they stood in terms of this overall thing. Because that was one of my biggest concerns. If there's, Batman vs Superman as an example had they tried to put in 4 cameos, and it was sketchy.
Yeah.
This movie has a lot more.
10 plus.
10 plus extra characters. And they all have to have a stance in this fight. They need to have a reason to be on either side. And I think they did that in quite a good way, in any other way it could have gone. They gave everyone their own sort of reasons.
But because they've had so long in this universe, 13 movies in, you kind of went into Civil War already kind of knowing, well, I know that character, he's definitely more likely to side with Cap. Yeah, or she's definitely going to side with Tony.
So that's one of the key strengths the Marvel Cinematic Universe has. Having 13 movies to help build this character development, when you do put them all together, you already know who they are. They've done such a good thing at being like, this is Ant-Man. You've seen him once. He's funny. He's witty. He's charming.
He's had run-ins with the law. He doesn't like the government. Team Cap.
Yeah, what's Team Cap? Yeah, I'm like, well, I might know it was Cap. Yeah. I think that was a bigger concern. I don't know where I was going with that though. So
I like it. So let's talk about the things we like. What do we like about the movie, Josh?
Humor.
Yep.
It had me laughing out loud throughout, and not just me. Everyone in the cinema except him for the first half of the movie. Just the comedic timing of the actors is perfect, and the scenes set up for them, and characters you wouldn't expect to be funny. Get on that shortly, but there's a few scenes with
which ones?
Oh, there's Falcon and Bucky. 2 scenes. In one scene, Bucky's in the backseat of a car and Falcon's in front of him, and they're just sitting there in silence, and Bucky just goes, "Can you move your seat forward?" And Falcon goes, "No." And that was it. And that was so funny because of the characters. You don't expect that from them.
And because it's not joke-based humour.
No.
It's personable humour.
Yeah.
As in, like, it's adding to them as people. It's not being like him going, da-da-da.
Well, because they needed
after
after
a banana peel and
well, after Winter Soldier, they had to humanise Bucky a little bit, and which they did. And there's another scene where Falcon and Bucky are fighting Spider-Man, and eventually Falcon takes care of Spider-Man after he's kicked the shit out of them. Good job, Spidey. And Falcon used his little drone thing to take out Spidey, and Bucky's just like, "You couldn't have done that sooner?" And Falcon's like, "I hate you." It was character building, right? And it was the same all throughout. As soon as Paul Rudd arrived on the scene,
that's where I got drawn back in.
Because Ant-Man at the time was so out there. It's like, how are they going to make this work? Because we've got superheroes and we suspend our disbelief and we do all of that. But Ant-Man, and it fucking works.
They clearly just yanked him from somewhere. Like he was asleep in the back of the bed.
Yeah.
Like they've clearly just gone.
Hawkeye's just like, I got some other dude, gave him a coffee, here he is. And he's like, hey.
He's like, hey, what time zone is this? Yeah. Holy shit, it's Captain America.
Big fan of your work. And then he looks at Scarlet Witch, he's like, hey, you, I like you too.
Yeah, I've heard of you, you're cool. Yeah.
It's like touching his muscles. Like, whoa.
Your hand. I'm shaking your hand too long.
That's the strength of Paul Rudd, though.
Well, the character is just awesome, and there was a fair bit of character building in this, even for secondary characters like Scarlet Witch. At the end of Age of Ultron, I didn't really care.
Oh, I totally
right? She was attractive, don't get me wrong. But, going through this, she had her own arc, because she was the one that caused pretty much all the issues to start with, at the start with Crossbones and blowing up half a building, and seeing her take accountability for that and how she's dealing with that, sitting in her room watching the news by herself. Opening up to Vision a little bit, which was an interesting pairing.
Yeah,
there was a lot of character building for secondary characters.
What are you doing?
Yeah, all the humour was great. I like Vision, like the idea that they were fleshing out Vision and his relationship with Scarlet Witch. In the comics, they have a relationship together, get married.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's cool.
But just watching him trying to be human and cooking and wearing a suit, even though clearly he's an android, walking in the door.
Phasing through the wall.
Yeah,
I do give that credit, like the door's open, so I thought I could just walk in.
Yeah,
through the door.
Vision, we've talked about this.
And he's trying to cook food, and he's like, look, can you try it? Because, I've never really eaten before.
I don't eat. He's a very literal character.
I think... Wait. I got lost.
Dylan was speaking.
About?
Vision.
I wanted to jump on something, but it wasn't that.
You did jump
Their
on something.
Their relationship banging.
No.
Going through doors.
Yeah,
intelligent.
Come back to me.
I don't know. But yeah, Vision was cool. The things that I like. Let's have a look. See. I mean, yeah, like you're saying, in the way that Hulk stole the show in the Avengers, and the way that Quicksilver stole the show in Days of Future Past. I thought it would be Spider-Man and Black Panther. They're the big things that were introduced in this movie. And it's crazy that they're telling a story with all these characters, like you said. Captain America, War Machine, just in their alone teams. Like those two, Falcon and Cap, Bucky. That's a story into itself.
Yeah.
That they put Ant-Man in. That they put Scarlet Witch
Vision,
in. That
Scarlet
they
Witch,
bring
Hawkeye came back. Yeah.
And then they've also we're introducing, let's just say they're introducing Spider-Man. Like they did with Wonder Woman and Batman. You only see it briefly and it kind of feels shoehorned. They shoehorned Spider-Man in and made it work. And then they've also got Black Panther in as like another main character. Like it's so much stuff to fit in. And I thought those guys would take the limelight and be the standouts. But really it was just returning Paul Rudd's Ant-Man / spoilers Giant Man. That was just incredible.
That happened.
Yeah, like did you expect that to happen?
No. I mean, you alluded to the fact it was kind of spoiled because Funko brought out a Giant Man pop figure, right? But they could have just done that.
But then in the same
Lex
break,
Luthor.
in a BVS action set, they brought out a Lex Luthor in armor figure.
Yeah.
Which wasn't in the movie.
But it might be coming. Giant Man was very unexpected. He's like, I haven't done this much. I did it once. I fucking passed out.
Yes, I did it once in the lab and I passed out.
And I broke everything. Hear me!
As War Machine's flying away.
Oh, and like when he gave Cap the enlarging lid,
the truck.
and he threw the truck, and so Cap throws it and it hits the truck, and it's a fire truck, and it fucking blows up. He's like, I thought it was a water truck.
And when the vision shifts through his body, he's like, there's something inside me, I know what's happening. And even when he was like shrunk down and went, like there's so many good moments, and he was only in that block of the movie. And he like the poster here, that he got shot with the arrow by Hawkeye and ran inside Iron Man's going through his suit.
Yeah.
Gold. So yeah, those are the kind of things I loved about the movie, right?
One thing I have to comment on is I loved the choreography of the action scenes. They were even though they were edited quite well. Like when people were punching, they felt like they were punching.
Yeah.
Like even the female characters, like when Scarlet Witch comes in and just beats up dudes, you're like,
You mean Black Widow?
oh yeah, wait, no,
Scarlett Johansson.
did I say Scarlet Witch? Sorry, Black Widow, my mistake.
I know they're both called Scarlet.
Yeah, it's confusing. Like, once again, in that sort of the beginning Crossbones scenes. Like, Superman...
What the fuck is wrong with
I'm
you?
really tired. Captain America's, like, whipping dudes across S.H.I.E.L.D. Falcon's doing stuff from above. And Scarlett Johansson is just punching, flipping. Like, she's taking 3 dudes on at once.
Yeah. She pulled a lot of wrestling moves. It was Hurricane Runners, DDT. She rock bottomed some dude. I'm just picking all these moves like, yeah.
See, for my, like, as much as I love that, this is a sort of side rant.
Here we go.
No, it's not really a side rant. It's only because Dylan and I talked about this the other day. Like, I think they would have had a much stronger effect in terms of, like, strong female character if they didn't, like, give her such the cliche lady role in Age of Ultron. To me, that Marvel have ruined what could have been an incredibly strong female character.
But she still is.
No.
That's showing... I think that shows her strength more because of how many different roles she can do as that strong female character.
She only got kidnapped once in Ultron.
Only once. She was,
only did saving once.
In this movie, it was awesome. She played a role. She was great. She pushed the plot forward
and
in some
make
scenes.
her a love interest.
But without making her a love interest, without making her... I'm the female character. It was... See, Age of Ultron, a key plot point was that they were trying to bang. Like, Hulk and Black Widow were going to get it. Like, there was something racial forming there.
What's wrong with that? Nothing.
I didn't think it was...
Superheroes can't bang?
No, I still didn't think it was in it, but like...
She's a girl, so she can't bang because that means her character's not strong.
Yeah, but she's the only girl. Like, give Hulk a different love interest. They bring someone in as...
Because that could have convoluted the plot. Anyway, that's a completely different range.
Completely different.
Okay, so those are things we did like. What did you not like?
One more thing I did like.
Yeah, sure.
How they brought Spider-Man in. Only because Aunt May. No, I thought...
Yeah.
I like how they brought him in...
Spider-Man and Black Panther, like have a quick chat about them themselves?
Well, no, because I liked it. So let's do Spider-Man now.
Oh, because I want to do a full chat just about Spider-Man.
Yeah, go for it.
I was just saying, well, let's do it now then.
Oh, okay, cool.
They brought him in. Tony already knew who Peter Parker was, what he
Been
could
like
do.
spying on him, yeah.
Yeah. So Tony goes there and pretends to be offering him a grant for a project, and Peter Parker's like, yeah, okay. Like, does this have actual money in it? That's a pretty funny line because Peter Parker's so fucking poor.
In the Ant-Man viral videos, there was like
Yeah.
a news report about Cross Industries with Darren Cross. And one of the little taglines that comes across the news was like, Tony Stark is now promoting a new like school incentive thing for young students, and like people were like, oh, is that how he's going to get introduced to Peter Parker?
Oh, okay.
Like he's a talented student and takes him under his wing. Kind of did that.
Kinda, not
Alluded.
quite. Anyway, Tony visits Peter. He's like, hey, I can like completely redo your suit. And he's like, okay, cool. Then Spider-Man comes in for that one fight, does some really cool shit, has some funny lines. You know, he really actually makes an impact. He goes one-on-one with Cap. You know, he does some crazy shit for what he's like 16. And then at the end of the fight, Tony's like, Spider-Man's hurt. Tony's like, you're done. That's it. And we didn't see Spidey for the rest of the movie.
Medical attention.
I thought that was cool because they brought him in. He was there. He had an impact, and then they kind of went. They wrote "You're done" into the script. Not like where the fuck did he go?
But it wasn't
They
just
wrote
like
him out of
a
it.
tease. He was like in it.
He was legit in it.
Yeah. And Peter Parker was in it, and it had that whole scene, and then Spider-Man was in it for a good part as well.
Yeah.
So it kind of went off the notion that
Well,
he existed, and that's what happened.
The initial chat between Tony and Peter Parker, where Tony's like, "What are your motivations?" That was a good way just to get it out there. Okay, now I know who Spider-Man is. I know what drives him in 45 seconds of dialogue.
Yeah, they handled what would have been his origin story in a minute and a half.
Yeah.
It was, I've been doing this for 6 months.
Yeah.
This is what I.
There was an accident. I've been doing it for 6 months. This is why I do it.
And he even mentioned that he wears those goggles because his senses are heightened, and it affects his eyes. So
and it helps him focus.
Yeah, it helps him focus. Yeah,
That was
that's
really.
interesting.
Is that a thing in comics too?
Not that I know.
Not really,
But
or-
then he had those kind of like dilating pupil eyes, so maybe that's something incorporated.
But before I get into it, what do you know anything out on Spider-Man?
Yeah, it was funny. They played up the idea that he's young. Like, that's a good dynamic to have because all the Avengers are older men and women. That he's like a kid, and they had that joke about the Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, have you guys seen this really old movie?
Yeah.
The Empire Strikes Back. As he's wrapping giant man's legs with wrap. I thought that was really clever. It was a perfect time for that kind of dialogue.
It was good.
And they're in the snow, and they're doing the thing with the ship.
Yeah, the ships come around and take those walking things down. But yeah, like, he wasn't quippy per se, because he was kind of like a little like Ant-Man, starstruck by everybody. And he's like, oh, hey, nice to meet everybody.
Captain.
And Captain, and he's like fighting Falcon, and Falcon's like, you talk a lot, you know, is this your first fight?
And he goes, oh, sorry.
Yeah, and he's like fighting the Winter Soldier, like, dude, you've got a robot arm.
You got a metal arm? That's awesome.
So that was awesome, but I don't think he did anything like with Captain America. Each movie they try and make his shield more impressive and do more cool things, and you'd think that they brainstorm the shit out of it to be like, we're going to show Sony how to do Spider-Man, and he didn't really do much more Spider-Maning than he normally does.
No, it wasn't nothing we haven't seen Spider-Man do in all the other films.
And he was very like there's the scene where they run together in the airport in the trailers, and they've like put Spider-Man in, and there's a lot of scenes where it's kind of like they got the lineups and he wasn't in the trailer, and then they put him in that exact shot.
Oh, okay.
And that is that's probably one of my dislikes of this movie is, I think, was it Tom Welling?
Yeah.
I think Tom Welling.
No, Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. I think Tom Holland was in the suit once. And that was at the end when he's laying down and he's like, you're done. Like, not a single part of the rest of the movie I don't think he was in. I think it was completely digitalized, and you could tell. And that was really quite jarring, actually. Because there is CG. We know Iron Man's suit's mostly CG. It's not a physical suit. But everyone else is kicking, punching, and flying around and doing cool things. And it took me out of it in a heartbeat.
Well, the thing is, you guys were mentioning that, you know, Iron Man's suit CGI was a bit meh, Spider-Man's suit was a bit meh. I didn't see it.
But that comes from us, being nitpicky and, you know, like...
Well, not at one point did I think that doesn't look right or that doesn't fit. You know, I don't
know, like, in terms of Tom Holland, I think he's an interesting Peter Parker. This is a personal nitpick. I don't quite like his voice. To me, his voice isn't Peter Parker. I still kind of stand my ground. I think Andrew Garfield was maybe a better Peter Parker and Spider-Man combination. I really quite enjoyed him in that role.
Yeah.
I'd love to see where they're going to go with this.
Yeah, that's a big thing to say because seeing as Spider-Man was around for about 15 minutes.
No, yeah, as I said, this is all
that.
like but all we get out of it is just the quips. Like there were some of the quips. Yes, he wasn't very quippy. He was funny and he was good. And one simple scene is like, "Oh, hey, you forgot this," and he just whips a car at someone.
Yeah,
Which is awesome. Like it's just that was so simple. I was like, all right, I'm in. This is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But the best thing about him is because he's young, we're going to see him grow and age into this role, and then he'll eventually become the Spider-Man that we know. I think that was a really smart idea.
What about Black Panther?
Black Panther's interesting. Very interesting.
he's handsome as hell.
Yeah.
Wow. They introduced him in a good way, being, Prince of Wakanda. With his dad. His dad was at the big United Nations meeting for the Sokovia Accord. Dad died, grabs the ring, takes the mantle of Black Panther. Or he already was Black Panther.
Did he bring the suit with him?
Yeah, was he wearing it underneath?
Is it his dad's suit that he just kind of put on?
No, 'cause his dad's
it's,
8 sizes bigger than
Auto
him.
size, like Back to the Future, kind of adjusts the button.
I was underwhelmed because I thought that Black Panther would come in and just wreck shit. Like, he's put in that way that this is next level kind of bad. Like, not bad guy. Next level superhero. Badass, right? And every step of the way, every scene he was in, he didn't do anything. Like, the big introduction scene was him chasing Bucky while Cap's chasing him to stop him from chasing Bucky.
Awesome.
And good scene, and at the end, the cops surround them, and he just puts his hands up. I was like, oh, you got me.
Yeah, he's like, haha, diplomatic immunity, you fucks. And then
No, but like,
political prisoner. And he's like, I'm out.
but he should have just bolted
He
or
just bust a
gone.
lethal weapon.
But he should have done something cool there that you're like, whoa.
See, I think
I was
Well, he kinda
underwhelmed.
did.
I think he played quite an important role in the overall story. Like they
Oh, he
didn't
definitely
They
did.
didn't kind of ham-fist him in as spoilers.
This whole thing's been spoiled.
Yeah, no, but this we're into certain spoilers here. So the villain of the movie, his main reasons for his behaviour were revenge.
Vengeance.
One of the last actions between, Bucky and Iron Man was vengeance. In Black Panther's entire path in this movie was based on vengeance.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea was he was like, no, we need the Wakanda Accord. We need it so that... Sorry, the reflection is right in my eyes. We need the Wakanda Accord to make you guys accountable.
Yeah.
Then something happens and his dad gets taken out. Then he's changed sides. He's on Cap's side now.
Who?
It was an Iron Man son.
He was an Iron Man.
Then he was on Iron Man's side. And then the second that shit happened to him, he became the no, I take it into my own hands.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
You mean showing that like...
Oh, but he was still Team Iron Man.
But he's outside of the law.
Black Panther's whole thing is he thought Bucky killed his dad. And it was vengeance.
Yeah, no, that's the point. No, the point makes like he took it into his own hands. He was so stringent on because he was his dad was the guy that
So
pushed this.
you're a great diplomat, so...
No, but his
then he was like-
the reason for him doing that is because he saw Bucky, Cap, blah blah blah. They're not coming to play ball. We need to
But then
make them.
But that's
why he was
but
on
that's
Team Iron Man.
He's also showing the conflict of it's not as simple as being on this side and this side. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Okay.
By him sort of running that line and being like, we're going to have to, in order for you to comply with this side, we're going to have to break these rules to make you comply. Like, well, that's kind of redundant. Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. And then at the end, he's like, vengeance is the,
Yeah, he came to the realization. It was character development.
Really good. A lot out of him in such a small period of time and a lot of growth as a character. I was really quite impressed. But at the same time, I have no idea what they're going to do for his solo movie at this point. I have no idea.
I hope it doesn't involve Bucky at all.
No,
Because that's where it was kind of leaked.
Yeah, I mean, he did a lot of things. Like, he did have those chase scenes, and there was a lot of fight scenes with him, and he did show, awesome physical prowess, and he had the claws, and he's sliding down buildings and all sorts of stuff, but he did feel a little underwhelming,
Yeah.
and like I said earlier to Ryan, what are they going to do for his solo movie? Like, what power set, what things can he do that we didn't see him do already? But yeah, Chadwick Boseman was awesome. Like, especially when he wasn't even wearing the suit and they had that fight scene where Bucky was escaping.
Yeah.
And he's leaping over things. He's physical. He's doing martial arts.
Yeah.
That was awesome. The suit looked really cool. The helmet twists off.
Yeah.
That looked amazing. But yeah.
What I found funny that chase scene through the car tunnel was Bucky, Black Panther, Cap. How many of these motherfuckers can run fast?
Yeah.
Because they were all somehow the exact same speed and not catching each other.
But that's what was really impressive, though. They all showed a sense of speed.
Oh, no, it was,
as
but-
in, visually, it looks like they're running so fast.
But
Like,
I feel...
Bucky's a super... Like, he's been super soldiered.
Yeah. Cap super
Obviously,
soldiered.
He's-
I
but,
feel
yeah.
like Black Panther should have been faster than that.
Yeah, he should have. They didn't show that he was faster. He was
No,
fast.
he was
as
fast,
them.
and he was clever,
Yeah.
like jumping on cars and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But he was agile,
Mm.
but I feel like he should have just been able to catch Bucky.
Yeah, he should have just been that awesome that
Especially
it's
when,
nothing to him.
especially when Bucky was just running and not on the motorbike that he eventually got.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
should have just... that's how I feel anyway.
Yeah, that's good.
That's what was underwhelming. Like, Bucky should have ran... You know, Black
Black
Panther
Panther's, like, on him. He's
well,
like,
you know,
oh,
he had
fuck.
Black Panther's having a fight with Cap. Black Panther takes Cap out and then catches Bucky after Bucky's been running all this time.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
Yeah, that'd be cool. All right, what about the things you disliked then? That's a bit of a start to it. You were talking about Iron Man's...
Yes, there were certain moments that we know Iron Man's like the suit is CG. Ever since the sort of hiccups of him not wearing the bottom half in Iron Man 2, they kind of were like, well, just CG the whole suit. And there were moments where it looked really good here, but then around the neck where they sort of made it cusp the neck, it looked almost a little bit like Green Lantern's collar in the Green Lantern movie, because the way it sat, you could tell it was CG, because it didn't quite match the human. Total nitpick.
But it was
100%
throughout the
nitpick.
whole movie, though.
Yeah.
Like anytime he's in the Iron Man
Anytime
suit,
they did it this
ever.
frame.
Yeah, it looked too funky. And they didn't even bother, like, animating the thing. Like, there's a lot of scenes where he's just Tony Stark, and in the very next shot, it cuts to someone, like, punch at him, and he's Iron Man. Like, they didn't even bother. I don't know.
I picked that up towards the end, actually. When Cap and Bucky get to this lab in wherever the fuck it is, they're standing at the edge of the plane, and Cap has no helmet on. And they're walking in. And then the next scene, they're inside, and Cap's got his helmet on.
Yeah, I know
That's a nitpick
why,
too.
Why you'd wear
But,
his
like,
helmet is ridiculous.
Why would he, at what point, just have him in it or out of it? That's
Yeah.
that's another nitpick.
I
But
mean-
I didn't see that with the Iron Man suit. I don't know why. Because my vision's fucked. But I didn't see that. I don't think it's as noticeable. I think you noticed it once and then it just stuck with you for the rest of the movie because you've seen it. I'll probably watch it again now and see it and go, oh, well, Ryan's just ruined this whole movie for me. Best friend.
I don't think there's much else that can be disliked about it.
Oh, no,
Well-
there definitely was.
Yeah, like,
Okay.
one of the biggest things that people always complain about is the villains in...
Oh, yes, of
Marvel
course.
movies.
Yeah, I completely forgot about it,
So-
actually.
There was-
Zemo in this one was like, you understood why he wanted to do it. His family were killed in the... What is it called again? I've forgotten now.
Sokovia.
Sokovia dropping that Ultron did of the country. And his idea was, I can't beat the Avengers. I'm not powerful enough. I'm just a person. But if I can get them to fight each other, then they can kill each other. and I get
He
them out
did
of the way.
devolve the family. Yeah.
It shows how intelligent he is because he for the most part pulled it off.
Yeah,
Just a
it's pretty close to
human
it.
with no powers almost pulled it off.
But at the same time, the opening sequence of Bucky destroying this car and finding these vials of something, and the whole story of them building up these 6 Winter Soldiers that are unstoppable,
Yeah.
was the biggest MacGuffin ever. It didn't go anywhere. Like, as soon as they got there, you think there's going to be this big fight, and they were dead.
He's like, no, I shot them all. Yeah,
And it's like, what, this whole complex backstory, whole scenes of him in the hotel, having his bacon and coffee or whatever that was, it didn't really go anywhere. Him torturing the people. Like, I understand in a sense of plot points and exposition to get the story there, but it was all like, meh.
I think it was supposed to be a bait and switch.
Yeah.
Where when they eventually get to where the other Winter Soldiers are and they're dead, you're meant to go, that wasn't it the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh my god! But it was more like, that wasn't it the whole time.
And his
Like
plan, of course, was that he knew, spoilers, that
Bucky.
he brought them all there. He brought Iron Man there, he brought Captain America, he brought Bucky there, so that he could play that video to get them to finish
Showing
each other off.
Bucky killing Tony Stark's parents
Spoilers.
under mind control. Which, you know, it all works as a plot.
But-
the motivations are there,
Yeah.
but it's not executed very
But
well.
even the emotion of it, like
Yeah.
the idea that at the start, Tony Stark is giving this demonstration at MIT, and it's him young, and they have this digital young Robert Downey Jr. And at the moment where his father left, and it was the last time he saw him, he didn't say goodbye, and then he's got this persona of being a jerky, who cares kind of guy because of his relationship with his father, which they're kind of hinted towards in the past. But the idea that Captain America knew Howard Stark as a young man well, and Tony Stark doesn't have his father, and there could have been this dynamic between him and Cap, this more personal thing about, you know, the relationship he had with his father, and they didn't even touch upon that. Like, they touched upon it in the sense that they mentioned it,
Like a
and it
sentence.
didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I never felt the weight of the emotion that Tony really missed his dad. They could have planted that throughout the movie, and like, my dad meant a lot to me. He's like, I knew your dad, and he was a good person.
Yeah.
You're a good person too. I see a lot of you in him, and they're really good friends because of this thing.
Yeah.
And you never even got the sense that they were like buddy Iron Man, and they didn't really like each other anyway.
Yeah.
You didn't feel them like, we're best buds, and now we're broke apart. They're kind of like, I don't like you anyway.
I expected, because I'm a sook, I expected tears in this movie.
I want
At some
tears.
point, I expected to have tears coming down my face for whatever reason, whether someone died or didn't die, or just dialogue. You know, I wanted to feel that, but I didn't, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It just-
I gotta
it-
sneeze. I just won't happen. Just thought I'd let you know.
Everything was there for that to happen, but it just didn't quite get there.
Yeah.
The most emotional part, I guess, was the final battle between Cap, Bucky, and Iron Man, because it was it came across as a really desperate fight.
Yeah.
Right? And seeing Cap and Bucky with Iron Man on his knees just beating him, that was almost there. I was like, you know, that should have been like, I can't believe this is happening.
And when
And
his
then- and when
final
Cap-
blow...
Cap shielded Iron Man through his heart thing, whatever it's called.
It's an ion thing, isn't
And
it?
I
What's it called?
Arc reactor.
That's the one.
arc reactor. I thought that Tony Stark was dying because the way his body language and his coughing and he's struggling to breathe. I thought, holy fuck, are they actually killing him?
Or at least he couldn't move. Like, the suit's deactivated, he can't
Yeah.
move, and they leave. But he just kind of like, oh, bye, Cap.
Yeah.
Gets up.
He
and
gets
just
up
like,
on his side. And he's
you
like,
got
oh,
me.
yeah.
My power's
That
down.
you shouldn't have that shield. My dad made that shield. You don't deserve
He's
it.
like, fine,
Fine,
here you
have
go.
it.
Yeah.
Which was weird. That one moment, it kind of.
That should have been emotional too. Like Cap drops his shield, and you should have been like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's
But
a
it's-
significant thing. It's him giving up the mantle.
But that one line, it was supposed to be like, it's my dad. He's like, it's my dad. It's mine. I'm entitled to that.
You don't
shield."
deserve that.
That's what it felt like. And I'm like, oh man,
And
you
I
just got
think
your ass kicked now. You're a
the-
silly little spoiled
Oh,
fuck.
and he's my friend. So was I. Like
In
that.
the trailer...
That in the trailer,
amazing.
that looked really emotional, but
Because
it-
they extended it for the trailer.
they did, yeah. Because it was in the movie, he goes, "So was I," bang, and it like keeps going. There's no breathing room, but that line, I don't know, that should have been a 15-second scene. So was I, like that should have been the scene to crack everyone. You know, it just didn't though,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Any other issues?
No, not really.
Cool. All right, let's move on to the ending. So, mid-credit scene is Bucky. All right.
No, I've been battling sickness for like ever, but my body just has moments where it caves for like 10 minutes. And I'm like, ugh, and then I'll come back. Like my body's fighting so hard, then it just goes, huh, and then I get stuffy nose and I get a headache, and it's like, and
Lucky.
then in 10 minutes I'm back.
We're nearly done.
Good.
Oh, yes.
Ugh.
Ending scene. Bucky
Bucky is in somewhere in a laboratory, and he says to
in
Cap...
Wakanda.
Spoilers.
it's-
Well, they're in some kind of lab.
Yeah.
And he says, until we can get this shit sorted out with this mind-controlling stuff, I'm better off to go under ice again and fix it later. So they freeze him again, and then Black Panther comes over, and then it reveals that they're actually in Wakanda, and that's where they're hiding out.
Cap's like, "Thank you for doing this."
Yeah.
And that's when T'Challa,
Yep.
that's right, isn't it? Says, you know, Bucky was a victim as well,
Yeah.
which was what I was alluding to earlier. And then it does this really
Sorry for those.
cool camera pan out the window, and you see Wakanda, and it looks
Well, the
Wow,
idea is
awesome.
Wakanda is like this artificially made land. Like they're so advanced in technology, they're past anything out in the real world. But they keep to themselves, and they don't share anything with anyone, and nobody's allowed in. So yeah, I guess that's what will lead on in the Black Panther movie. And then at the end credits...
Wait, can we just touch on that one quickly?
Yeah, sure.
I'm hoping that, like, because the end scene...
No.
Fucking hell.
You're going to pass out. Your head's going to explode.
I haven't sneezed. It's
You're just like...
killing
No,
me.
but one of the final lines in that scene in Wakanda, there you go,
Yes!
was, you know, if they find out he's here, they're going to come for him. And he's like, yeah, I know. I don't want the Black Panther film to involve Bucky or the Avengers, any of the greater story.
Woo!
I just want Black Panther. I
Yeah.
don't want him protecting Bucky. Like, we've seen enough Bucky.
Well, maybe Bucky's just frozen in the
What?
refrigerator.
I don't want Wakanda getting invaded because people are trying to get Bucky.
No,
None of that.
no.
None of it.
Solo standalone story.
Jesus Christ!
This video is a fucking train wreck.
What? Ah!
Anything else to add to that scene?
You can literally know down the second that I got sick. This is insane.
You can watch it happen.
We'll timestamp it.
And finally, Spider-Man.
We're talking about Spider-Man.
Spider-Man had a shiny watch.
The final scene.
Oh, yeah,
Are
I
you
know that was.
paying attention?
It's
or
Spidey
sneezing?
signal.
What's the deal with that? Because I don't remember that at all.
No. Well, that's something they've never done in the movies. I guess Marvel's like, hey, we like fanboy shit. Look at this. It's just like this light that he shines on villains to let them know
Actually,
that
I saw it
he's
in
around.
animated.
Yeah.
Can you please put a
Yeah.
sneeze counter on the screen? Because this is insane.
I think it's up to 10.
Yeah, it must be.
But yeah, that was just a fun little thing. At the end where he's like got beat up and Aunt May's brought him something for his face. He's like, there was an old guy, Steve. You don't know him.
And his
He
friend,
was huge!
his friend was huge, referring to Giant Man.
Big guy.
Yeah.
That was a fun little end credits thing.
I was disappointed though.
Yeah.
I thought at this point, because we're in phase 3 now, that I'm just going to start timing my talking around that.
Thank you.
That we'd be starting to get these final scenes after the movie alluding to the big picture, like the end game, right?
Well, that's actually something this movie did incredibly well in general. Is now I sound sick. That's something they did incredibly well. It is the bigger.
I just got fucking over it.
It is for the bigger universe, but at no point did they ever shoehorn bigger stuff in. They weren't like, apart from referencing that Thor and Hulk aren't here, and they
brief
explain
seconds.
why they're not here in like really throwaway lines. They were never like, oh, here's every, they're not like Thanos, glove, and they're not like Justice League. They didn't do that.
Okay, quick bit of speculation before we wrap up.
Sure.
What if Thor and Hulk were there? What teams? And how would they have impacted it?
Hulk would have been Cap.
I feel like Bruce Banner would have been Iron Man and
Yeah.
Hulk would have been Cap.
How can they do that?
Because Bruce Banner would be like,
Logical.
because he would be the one to go, we need this.
Yeah.
Because I'm fucking uncontrollable.
buddies.
But then he'd change and just
He'd
go
smash
fucking
everyone.
crazy.
And Thor's like, I'm from a different planet, I don't give a
So I'll
shit.
be like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And then he goes,
Even though I am here, I don't care either. So I'm not going to fight.
yeah.
Cool.
I like to think, I think Thor's ideals would have aligned with Cap's.
I don't think you would have cared.
No, but if he hit, I just think character-wise,
He's like,
if Thor had to pick, I think he would have been on Cap's side.
you're like, let's all try and pick up my hammer again. Let's
Remember
be
that
friends.
fun game?
Remember that?
When we were all good
I
chums?
won. I'm the winner.
But Cap moved it just a little bit and I weed a little bit.
I don't remember that. That didn't happen. Cool. So that is essentially our 7 sneezes out of 10 review of Captain America Civil War. Do you want to score it? Do we do scores?
For me, it's an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10?
Yeah,
Josh?
there's a lot of good things to it, but obviously because I kind of dipped in the start.
Yeah, I'll go 8 as well. What was good was really fucking good. I just don't feel like that was kept up for the entire movie.
Yeah, slow start from the middle. Once that action started and the fun got into it, I'd say 7.5.
Oh, you rate lower than us.
Yeah,
Strange.
there's places to go.
Go. Yeah.
Not.
I was just going to let's let Ryan wrap it up while he's really sick. So that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Awesome. So be sure to like, subscribe, and go to all the social medias. Everything is in the description below. But of course, the big place you need to go to is popculturist.com, where we're starting to really push more content and do lots of things. And
He's normally a lot more excited than that.
I'll go to bed.
He's doing the opposite of maybe. See you next time.
Bye.